Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to this next video to present to all of you here on YouTube. A little rant video as of sorts, giving my thoughts on a little subject of tension that's been happening in a certain fan base in the gaming industry lately, Fire Emblem, and this whole thing I've been noticing with this fan base, and how split and divisive it is, and divided and everything. It has been for quite some time now, and what these new fans and these old fans and how they differentiate and what they argue on and so forth, and quite frankly giving my opinion on this because quite frankly, and you probably know by the name of the title of this video, it quite frankly pisses me off what I've been seeing the Fire Emblem fan base going through lately, especially since we've had Awakening come out, Fates come out last year, and now we have Heroes and Echoes and the Switch game and Warriors all coming out quite frankly within a year or so. What better time to do this now, because I've been noticing a lot online on Facebook and YouTube and everything, and I really quite frankly wanted to give my thoughts on this right now because I want to get this off my shoulders, because quite frankly, like I said, it's pissing me off. It's like, as a fan of Fire Emblem and seeing these two sides faction war against each other is kind of like, it gets on my nerves sometimes. It really quite frankly does. Now, both sides do have their own, have their reasonings, and some of the reasonings are nice, but a lot of it turns into big fanboy wars and elitist wars, and it really gets sick and tiring. And for those of you who don't know probably what this is, if you're not a fan of Fire Emblem or you barely just got into it anyways, you probably won't know exactly or pay attention to what's been going on online a whole lot lately. But like, this has kind of been turning into like a war between like the new Fire Emblem fans that have been coming along since like Awakening and pretty much really in Fates, and quite frankly since like it came into Smash Brothers as well. A lot of the fans came in since then too. But more so like the Awakening and Fates type stuff. And then the old school fans that have been around since day one, or at least even then, like it's Smash Brothers, like early on, like with 7 and 8 and whatnot. And like this big divide on them on what they like in Fire Emblem, how they got into the franchise, what they like and dislike about the series, where it is now, what it used to be, and so on and so forth. And it quite frankly turns into big arguments that half the time is just, I like this, I don't like this, so whatever, you should share my opinion, and like this absolutely sucks, and yada yada. It turns into a big fanboy elitist bullcrap yelling, arguing war, and it's really quite sickening actually. But what it is basically this, and then most of it comes from the old school fan side, and I'm not trying to bash the old school fans. Like I said, don't take this as a complete and utter, hatred video, me bashing people and attacking people. Don't take this personally. I'm doing it more as a general view of each side. But quite frankly, and the elitists people, as far as they put it, the old school fans are more so the ones that kind of started all of this. But the new fans sure as hell aren't helping the situation either. So both sides are at fault at this. And quite frankly, I'm thinking that both these sides are acting like a bunch of jackasses. So I'm sorry to say, I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just saying that's the case. But how it basically is a lot of the old school fans don't like what Fire Emblem has become. The series is not focusing on the characters and the story much anymore. It's not the whole strategy RPG thing. It's waifu pandering, husbando pandering, supports and marriages and children that don't really make any sense, and focusing on all this extra stuff that doesn't add to the grand scheme of the picture. Well, a lot of that stuff, a lot of the newer fans kind of appreciate, because some of it is what got them into the series. Because it's like, the difficulty settings is basically what got them into the series. It's like, Fire Emblem, quite frankly, if you guys haven't noticed, it's probably one of the hardest Nintendo franchises in the world out of their lineup. It was and still is one of their hardest freaking franchises. Losing your units, have to restart the game, restart the mission, restart the chapter, restart something because you lost a unit that you didn't want to lose, or you want to make it through the entire game because you didn't want to lose a particular unit, or any of your units for that matter, which quite frankly, a lot of fans like myself actually kind of don't like that. I remember days and days playing various Fire Emblem games and doing the same damn thing. It's a challenge, but they expanded on it, especially, and it did happen in the older games, but especially it's kind of been happening since like Awakening and Fates. They've added various difficulties like casual mode or Phoenix mode, where You don't lose your units and stuff like that. And a lot of the old school fans are like, that's not the heart of Fire Emblem. You need to learn how to do 50 million times trying a chapter because you didn't want to lose your freaking unit. But here's the thing, people. Not everyone likes that. And how hard and how secluded the franchise was only pretty much got a certain amount of gamers, a certain amount of people on board all those years. Whether it was in Japan only or not, it only, because of how hard the franchise was, how hardcore the franchise was, it scared away a lot of people. And one thing I think Intelligent Systems wanted to do, and Nintendo frankly wanted to do, is, like, with Awakening, that was supposed to be the last game in the franchise. It was supposed to be the be-all, end-all, whether it was successful or not, because the franchise up until that point wasn't doing all that well. Like, Radiant Dawn didn't do all that well. Shadow Dragon completely bombed, pretty much, and quite frankly, because it bombed so well, we didn't get Heroes of Light and Shadow localized on the DS. And we didn't get half the older games either. But they like, okay, we're going to try with Awakening and make it like a little bit more approachable for new fans so we can get the old fans on and the new fans. Because, difficulty settings and how you adjust your difficulty settings can allow for both newer fans to come in that want an easier game, that just want to get to know the characters, get to know the story, and get to know stuff like that. While the older fans can be like, I want to play on lunatic mode and have to retry a chapter a billion times to get it freaking done because I lose all my damn units. It was basically... I think Intelligent Systems and everything they wanted the franchise to be more approachable for newer fans so they could expand upon it and make it more successful. And quite frankly, I like that aspect, but apparently a lot of old school fans really don't like that because they don't like that a lot of fans are getting into it, not for the RPG aspect and because it's balls to the wall hard, but because of it being easier getting engrossed in the story and the characters and all the extra little stuff they've added with Awakening and Fates and whatnot. And that's where I think a lot of the elitist opinion comes from, is because, well, they don't like how it's been changing. Well, sorry, elitist fans. At least in my opinion, I think it's a good idea, and I think a lot in business opinion, it actually is a good idea to make your franchise more approachable. It doesn't mean it's taking away the freaking difficulty. You can play on Lunatic mode all you want. You don't have to play on Phoenix mode. You can play on Lunatic. You can play on the hard difficulty and ignore all the My Castle, or the waifu stuff, or the marriage, or the children, or online, or grinding your units or anything. You can play it still pretty much like old school Fire Emblem. It does not take away that aspect from the main aspect of the game. So, in my opinion, I think a lot of what the old school fans are attacking are stuff that expanded the franchise and made it more, approachable by fans and adding more content to it, rather than just going from chapter to chapter to chapter to chapter and just seeing the characters based off the story, just seeing characters based off like how the story plays out, and not being able to do all the extra little stuff. It's just straightforward, just chapter 1 to chapter 30, whatever type game. They add more content to give you more of your money's worth and also make it more approachable for new fans. As a business, that makes more sense because you want your franchises to be successful. You want them to be successful. And I think as fans, I thought we would kind of appreciate that because nowadays, Fire Emblem is becoming more approachable and is becoming one of Nintendo's biggest franchises, which back in the day, when they first started putting it in like Melee and Smash Brothers, we only got like 2 characters and this franchise was still in Japan. And we only got games sparingly. In Brawl, we got 2 characters, and now we have like 6 characters in Smash 4. And we have all these expanded like games, like Heroes as a phone game. One of Nintendo's first ever mobile games was freaking Fire Emblem. That speaks volumes for how freaking popular this franchise has gotten because of how far they've expanded it and opened it up for fans, over these last couple games. I thought as fans we would freaking like something like that. See, here's the thing. Before we get started, I don't want to be attacking old school fans and make you thinking like, oh, he's pretty much a new fan. He came in with like Awakening face. Hell no. No. I became a fan of Fire Emblem since Smash Brothers. I tried out 7. I didn't get really into it the first time. And then I played Radiant Dawn years later. Loved it. Went back and played Path of Radiance and played 7 and 8 and Shadow Dragon and all these other stuff. I haven't beaten every single game, but I became a fan back in the old school days, that middle ground, before the new stuff came in and after the old stuff. So shut the hell up if you're thinking I am trying to belittle old school elitist fans because I'm a new fan. No. I have been a fan of Fire Emblem for years, and I have been a fan that have been wanting to see this franchise expand 4 years. I always looked at it when, like, say, like before we even got all the warriors and all this, which now I'm so happy we're getting up like heroes and warriors because the franchise deserves a lot more recognition. It's one of my favorite Nintendo franchises, and I feel it's a Nintendo franchise from Intelligent Systems that actually deserves a lot more love. And I'm glad that they're expanding it so both newer fans and older fans, hardcore gamers and casual gamers and stuff, can actually expand the damn franchise. Back in Smash Brothers. Now, I didn't really, obviously, like a lot of people, I didn't know about the whole freaking thing with Fire Emblem, and Melee. And I got to know Marth and Roy was one of my favorite characters to play, and then we got Ike and Brawl. But I started seeing it like, okay, we still got 2 characters. This franchise has 1 million characters. It deserves more recognition. And then in Smash Bros. 4, we got 4 on the main roster and 2 DLCs, so we got 6. And then a lot of people go out and say, oh, the franchise doesn't deserve that much. It doesn't deserve 6 characters. Well, you know what? F you, because frankly, being as round as long as it has been since 1990, it's like 26 some odd years old now, almost 27. It's a long-standing Nintendo franchise, just like Mario and Zelda, and it has a very divided, very, differentiate, very divisive, roster of characters between all the different games. It deserves, and how different their fighting styles are. It deserves that many characters. But it never really got that recognition. It always had 2 characters, and it felt like it could have been so much more. And when they finally revealed Robin and Lucina and had Corrin and Roy as DLC, and they did it, I'm like, finally, Fire Emblem is getting the recognition it freaking deserves in Smash Brothers. It's giving the characters throughout the series, like older and newer games characters that have been Smash Brothers and newcomers and stuff like that. And it's finally giving us a larger Fire Emblem roster, which Fire Emblem truly, in my opinion, has deserved since Brawl. And going forward, it's going to be even more of future Smash Brothers games. And Fire Emblem is getting, more love, more recognition. People, if you're fans of Fire Emblem, you should be loving this Fire Emblem renaissance we're freaking going through, whether you like damn new games or not. We're getting Fire Emblem Warriors, a franchise from Nintendo that makes so much damn sense as a Mushu game, as a Warriors game, more so than Legend of Zelda ever did. And we're finally getting it, but we would never have got it if the franchise died off with Awakening, with Shadow Dragon. That's one reason why me looking at the new old school fans that are acting like a bunch of freaking elitists, I'm sick and tired of hearing your bull crap. The franchise has expanded so much. The franchise has gotten a lot more popular. And I think as fans, we should appreciate and love that, because you're not losing your old school Fire Emblem. You can still play on freaking lunatic difficulty. It's just adding content to the games to expand on them. Now it's not just a straightforward chapter-to-chapter game. It's adding, okay, if you want to do supports, you can. If you want to do merits, you can. Have children units, you can, which expands on the creation of units. You can dictate how your units want to fight, what abilities they have. You can still class change, support stuff, build your castles, play online, and do all this other stuff, and just expand Fire Emblem from not just being a secluded game to yourself, but around the whole damn world. You can go visit people's castles and talk to people and battle people online, and you can build your units and train your stuff in between stuff, which, quite frankly, if you don't like all that stuff, you don't have to. I think a lot of the new stuff they've added to it has expanded upon it. But that's also, if people would think that because of stuff like that, one of my favorite games, my favorite of all time Fire Emblem game would basically be, Awakening Your Fates. No, it's not. My favorite game is Path of Radiance, and it didn't have half that stuff. I'm just tired of hearing all the old school fans bicker and complain and moan about all the stuff that has been added to the series that, quite frankly, has expanded the audience, which expanded the audience, made it more popular, has not taken away the old school aspects of it, and the series has gotten more used to it. That's my opinion on old school fans. Now, you're thinking I'm only going to be complaining about old school fans. You'd be wrong. Now, new school fans can be a bunch of idiots as well, because they're the ones that complain about the old school fans, not getting with the times, and not doing this, and not doing that, and not being, approaching all this stuff. Well, quite frankly, you can't force this stuff on the old school fans either. You can't force this stuff for people what they like and dislike about the games, new school fans. That's the whole thing. You cannot be okay, because they got into it because of the strategy aspects, you didn't, how they got into the franchise with the older games, the newer games, you can't, complain about that either. See, a lot of newer fans kind of come off as elitist as well as come off as the very argumentative as well, because they defend like, oh, Fates did this and Awakening did this and so on and so forth. While a lot of they're putting down a lot of the older fans because they're not getting with the times and not appreciating what the series has done and how expansive it's become and so on and so forth. And they don't come off as elitists like the old school fans, but they come off as complete jackasses in and of their own right, because they come off as like argumentative about stuff they've done as well. About how the franchise has been like, oh, it's better now and this. I'm not going to say whether the series has gotten better or not. I still think Fire Emblem is freaking fun. The old games in the new games. Because here's the thing. I love Fire Emblem because of the strategy aspect. Because of it being a strategy RPG. Is that the only reason I damn well love the franchise? Hell no. I like it because of the characters. I like it because of the story. I like the support systems because we get to freaking learn about more of the characters. That's one of the aspects that, even though it was very little in Path of Radiance, I love seeing Ike talk to like Mist or Mia or or Leith or whoever, that Rolf or any of the Jill or any of the other characters in that freaking game. I like seeing outside the story me learning about more of the characters. And that wasn't even the big feature in that game. But then they started adding it and making the major stuff of like Awakening and Fates and so on and so forth. Getting like these support systems, getting these characters to basically learn more about them outside the units because you pair them up and do this and do that and have them talk to each other. I love the support systems because we get to learn more about the characters, and thus when we learn more about the characters, I love my army more and I care more about them in hopes to not lose them. I wouldn't be getting that if all I knew about Marth or Ike was, I'm Prince fighting the world to stop the evil. No, I learned Marth likes cheese or something, and Ike is afraid of mice, or Ike likes this about this person and this person, how these people bicker with each other, have friends with, or become friends with each other and stuff like that, and all these little doodads that may not have a single freaking thing to do with the story, but at the same time expands my knowledge of caring about the characters to hopes that they don't die and not want to lose them. I won't grow as attached to the characters if all I got to know about them is from the freaking story. You get to know them because you see their ups and their downs and how the story and the world and the characters around them affect these people. But all the extra doodads they've added to the series actually expands the franchise, in my opinion, to being more expansive and knowledgeable, to learning about these characters and caring more about these characters, more so than you would get just by 30 freaking chapters. No, you get like C rank, B rank, A rank, S rank, like support systems, learning more about them, and they talk not only with one character, but with an entire damn army. See, that's one thing I like about it. I like the strategy aspect. I like the characters, the story, the supports that go along with the story and the characters. I love the music. I love the art styles. Outside of Shadow Dragon, which I think looks like complete and utter crap. That's one major reason I don't like Shadow Dragon. And it's pretty much my least favorite Fire Emblem game. Is the art style looks. And I like the whole damn picture. I like the whole damn image. Everything. The entire package. I don't like just one aspect or two. I like everything you can do in it. Like with Fates, you can do the story, but you can also play online with people. You can build your army. You can make people support each other. You can build on your freaking castle. You can buy accessories, buy weapons, do this, and it's one big giant package. It's not just story, this chapter, and you don't have to just focus on all the extra stuff. You can focus on whatever the hell you want as a fan. You can do whatever the hell you want. I'm just sick and damn effing tired of how divisive the Fire Emblem fan base has become. Because they're like, oh, this is what Fire Emblem should be. Or this is what Fire Emblem should be. So you know what? Both of you should shut the hell up. Because Fire Emblem is what you make it. Fire Emblem is the story, is the characters, is the supports that could very well lead to marriages. You don't have to have children. People seem to think that marriage automatically means you have to have damn children in the effing game. No, you don't. I could take Ike, marry him to Mia, and we don't have to have Priam. He could just be S support for Ike and Mia. Or Maya, whatever her freaking name is called. You don't have to have Priam in the game. You don't have to have children show up. Marriage could just be the S rank that you want to make it. And if anything, you can make a damn choice in the game, hopefully, in future games where it's like, maybe you can make it so it's an S support that's not a marriage, but just a big, close friendship. Give us choices intelligence system. You can do stuff like that where you don't have to force a marriage on the people, but you can still build S rank so when they pair up, team up on the battlefield or whatever the hell else, you have a good, well-balanced, well-put-together, strategized team that you like teaming up with each other. Like I said, Fire Emblem is what you make it, people. The old games are Fire Emblem, the new games are Fire Emblem. I like both aspects of Fire Emblem. I like the entire damn package. And I want to play more of the old games. I'm loving that we're finally getting the Gaiden remake and Echoes. And I'm hoping with them doing that, and I've said this in the video before, I'm hoping they remake Fire Emblems 4, 5, and 6. They remake Thracia. They remake Genealogy. They remake Binding Blade. Maybe we'll get a remake of 7 or Sacred Stones, or maybe one day Path Radiance or Radiant Dawn. Maybe we'll finally get Heroes of Light and Shadow ported from the 3DS. Maybe that will get a full-blown remake. I don't know. But I'm liking that they're building upon and upgrading and bringing into the modern day these old Fire Emblem games that a lot of us never had a damn chance to play. And I'm liking, in my opinion, how Fire Emblem has expanded this much over this many years, ever since Awakening has come out. As a fan, I want to see more people play it. I want to see more people enjoy and love the damn franchise, learn about all the characters, play all these damn games. See it expand, in Smash Brothers. See stuff like Fire Emblem Warriors, stuff like Tokyo Mirage Session. See stuff like Heroes. I love seeing it expand and become bigger than it once was. Because as a fan, that's what you want. You don't want to be secluded to the 1%. And a lot of old school fans seem to want that. And a lot of new school fans seem to belittle them because they want that. So both sides bicker at each other, and it gets damn tiring. And I'm sick and tired of it. We're all Fire Emblem fans. We all want to see this franchise get better. Nothing will take away from its being a strategy RPG. But here's the thing. It could be more than just a strategy RPG. You can have the support to marriage, children, buying equipment and accessories, building castles, playing online, and all that stuff, expanding players online, without belittling the characters and the story and your little strategy RPG people. And that's all I'm saying. Both sides need to shut the hell up. I'm a Fire Emblem fan. Sniping is fun here. Hope you guys like this 23-some-odd minute freaking rant. And I'll see y'all later in the next video. See ya. Put in the comment section what you guys like. See y'all later. Fire Emblem fan here. Now and forever. New and old. And I'm looking forward to future games.